Welcome back to Gunpla Rush, everyone. Today we have a very special project as I have built a really cool looking biome and or terrarium for the Gunpla that I have in my collection. Now, when I started this project, I wasn't quite sure which Gunpla I was going to put in here, but as you can see, I decided to insert some Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundam into this terrarium, which you can see it also has a lot of greenery. This is like a post-apocalyptic kind of destroyed city look. I put the Bael and the Gundam Barbatos versus each other in this glass case to make a truly stunning display. If you want to see the speed build of this biome, then you can go ahead and continue to watch this video. But it won't be just your average speed build, as I'm not just going to rush through the entire build. I'm actually going to stop off at certain important intervals to basically educate you on a little bit on how to build these. So if you're curious about building one, it will be kind of an educational video for that as well. So as far as materials go, when I'm starting this project, I've got a lot of Gundam base type of little diorama things. So here we have the actual base and a bridge, and some of these I went ahead and pre-painted a little bit and pre-built on a little bit so that they would be prepared for this particular project, because some of it really required some pre-assembly. Kind of like these are like phone lines and light power lines, so some of that stuff really need to be pre-prepped. And then of course we have materials over here, so we have different stuff like the grasses and mosses. So we have green grass, just fine turf. We have a darker green like the forest green, and that's over here it's more like the forest vente or the forest green. And so basically ones like this, it's meant for the bushes, and then ones like this, it's meant for like the actual treetops. So then we have some harvest gold for the field, so we can make some grass and some kind of like weeds, you know, some actual realistic looking stuff here. And of course we have this thing, it's called yellow flowers, but you can actually use this to make like sand or some dirt. And we're going to use it to kind of make some debris looking stuff. We'll see if it works out. And of course we have this stuff, it's a bit more foamy and like spongy. It is for making some of these bushes and some of this other stuff. And of course we cover a lot of ground. I just went ahead and grabbed some of this stuff to basically cover like dirt, and this will give us something nice to glue it to. This larger thing is going to be our base. And so yeah, we're going to start with just this. So now I have pretty much all of the green and all the grass and all the moss and most of the city parts set in, and it's looking pretty good. As you can see, a lot of this grass actually looks pretty legit, looks like some real grass. It's a really simple technique of just laying some glue and then laying some of this fern down. But yeah, you can see we've got a lot of different types of terrain in here. I've got some bushes, we've got some tall like dead grass, we've got a little bit of sand, and all this stuff is pretty much done with just this model terrarium making stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. I got a few extra trees in here just to kind of liven it up, because I got so much green other stuff that I was like, I have to get some trees for this terrarium. And of course this one's supposed to look like a destroyed city, but not recently destroyed, like destroyed like ages ago. And we're gonna pick some Gunpla or some Gundams and we're gonna stick them in here, and it's gonna look pretty cool. Here is just a close-up for the top down for my city, so you can see there's some structure to where the buildings are, and you can kind of see on the edges here that I kind of stayed away from that because there's a glass case that will go on top of this when it's all final and done. So yeah, you can definitely see there's a lot in there. And something extra that I kind of like about this is that I was able to install these power lines into it. Like I said, I had to do that before I started the project just because it's very delicate. And another thing I accomplished was getting all this moss on these different buildings and stuff. Something I really liked about this project. So the Gunpla I have chosen for this particular terrarium is going to be the Bael. This is from IBO. And I just have a set here of the Barbatos Gundam and the Bael Gundam. I know they fought at some point in the anime, so I was like, yeah, these two can fight in this terrarium. That's another thing, is that the color will pop out really nicely against all of the green. And these are not expensive Gunpla, so I do not feel bad at all about including them in this project, because you can already see I modified this Barbatos already a little bit by coloring in the little green bits on him. So yeah, I already used a Gunpla marker to color on him and stuff, so I was like, this is going to be the perfect set to use rather than, you know, putting two of my RG kits in here. Although I do think the RG kits would look amazing inside of a terrarium. These ones I feel a little less bad about painting on and doing extra stuff too, because I plan on adding some moss and stuff like that to these to basically make them feel like they've been there. Now let's install the Barbatos Gundam that I have. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to split him in half because the top half of him just does not cooperate very much, and I may have to glue these guys in to keep them really stable. His wings are probably gonna have to like go down into a smaller size because of the glass case that's gonna go on this thing. So far he looks like he'll stand up, but again I'm really thinking I may have to glue this Barbatos in place. Barbatos without a stand is not a Barbatos that stands up very well on its own usually. The last thing you would want, of course, when doing a project like this is to go to move the Gundam or move the terrarium, and then your Gundam falls over inside of it, and now you gotta take off the top. Because something you may not know about a lot of this turf is not all of it is always glued down 100%, so some of it can like be blown away or breezed away a little bit. You know, so you definitely want to keep it inside of an area where there's no airflow, like no fans on, stuff like that. Okay, so now that we have all of the pieces in place, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some glue around their feet and whatnot so that they don't move. And this is going to take a while to dry, but it'll be worth it as long as my Gunpla don't fall over while this stuff is drying. So Let's lay down some turf over the glue. That's kind of like the trick to this, is that you're gonna be laying turf down, which is all the little sandy grass looking business. You're gonna be laying it down as you put glue down, and then kind of like blowing it away, and the glue will hold some turf. So you'll see me kind of doing that during the speed build. And what this will do is it will make it look more like a natural terrain, because the wind blows over grass and over dirt, and this makes it look a little bit more natural. For example, this building right here that's covered in this terrain, if you just give it a little breeze, you'll notice it looks a bit better and a bit more natural. I don't think this guy needs glue, as he's holding up pretty well. But let's double check all of the areas that we think we might need glue, and then we can apply a little bit of this spray. So basically all this is some basic glue, some like Elmer's type glue, and you mix it with some water, dilute it with some water, and you can spray things down, and then as you like breeze on the turf, it will make this debris looking effect. As far as like the grass goes, these are just hairs with glue on one end, and you kind of saw me doing that in the speed build. Those are a bit more tricky. Next, we might put lights in it, but for now, this diorama is finished. I gotta let it dry, so I can't put the lid back on it just yet, but we'll get some shots in the morning with the lid on. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more Gunpla content or more model content, because I make tons of it, new videos every week. So definitely subscribe so you do not miss out. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when our new videos drop. And of course, you can check out my older videos right here.